Hello guys, in this series we'll be learning how to make a fixed navigation bar where the navigation is fixed and other contents are being scrolled and while the navigation is fixed. But before you can proceed to this tutorial, you must have a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS. Then if you have those knowledge, we can proceed. But if you don't, make sure you check on one of our courses and watch on HTML and CSS for beginners. Okay, then if you have your text editor ready and your browser, let's get it started. Okay, all right, I'll be creating a folder. I'm going to call it fixed fixed nav. Okay, then we're going to create some files. Okay, let me open it with my VS Code. You can use any text editor, VS Code, brackets, Sublime Text, Notepad++, or even if you are using Windows, you can use the Notepad. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you choose, whatever is best for you. I prefer VS Code. So we'll proceed. Let's create a file, index.html. Okay, you can call it anything you want. Okay, HTML. Then that will be for our HTML files. Then let's create another one for our style. Okay, so we'll call it style.css. Then in our HTML, we are going to I'll be using emit. So a shortcut, I'll use an exclamation mark and I'll hit tab. Then it's going to pop up this HTML boilerplate. Okay, so I'm going to call my title. This is what's going to appear on the navbar. I'm going to sorry, not navbar, the tab, the browser's tab. So I'll call it Starkey. Okay, fixed menu. All right, then we're going to have a header. Okay, let's link our CSS first, because if we don't link your CSS, it's not going to work. So let's link our CSS. So you use the link tag to link your CSS. Okay, then let's create let's use the HTML5 tag called the header. Let's give it a class of I'm using the shortcut of the emit. Okay, so main header. Okay, you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter here. This is just a class name. Okay, then we are going to have some div, because if you watched the original project, you can see that there is a space right here and another space here. So we kind of contained the whole content in a div we called container, so that everything can be in the middle. So we'll see how to do all that. And you can see this button that when we click on it, it kind of behave like a button. So we'll see how to do that. Okay, so let's give a div. I'm going to use my shortcuts. Right, give it a class of container. Okay, top. Then we'll want to have our logo. I'll use H3. You can use whatever logo you want, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be using H3 for my logo. So I'll give it a class of logo. Okay, and inside it, I'm going to call it Starkey. Okay, you can call it whatever you want exactly. All right, then we'll be having our UL. So we'll use our unordered list to make the nav. We'll give it a class of nav, and it's going to have some LIs, okay, which has an anchor tag, which is the link, but it's not going to go anywhere. So that's just it. Then we'll call this one service. Then we'll duplicate it like a couple more times. Okay, so I'm going to call this one gallery. Oops. Gallery. Then I'm going to call this one about. Okay, then this one will be company. Okay, then let's have a button. Oh, sorry guys, let me open it so that we'll be seeing. I'll use I kind of have an extension here, so I think you can find an extension. I can open it using your browser, but I have an extension here, so I click on it so that it will open. I can proceed. Okay, so while I'm typing and saving, it will just pop out right here. Okay, so you can just do that. Go to this extension. I don't have my okay, I don't have my browser on, but I think you can see it here. I think the name is something live server. Okay, this is it here. So live server, you can add the extension to your VS Code and you can do pretty much the same thing. Okay, so let's proceed. What else do I want to add? I want to add the button. Okay, so let me add the button. I'm going to give it so many classes. Okay, so that it will be easier for me. Button. So I want to give it a class of btn. Okay, so we are going to see all the stylings and see how they behave. So don't you worry, don't be scared. We are all going to explain those things as we proceed. So these are all just classes. So I just want to give it a btn of round and another btn of trans. Okay, and another btn of because you can see in the main project it has this kind of shadow. Okay, so I wanted to have this border. There's a kind of a tiny dark blue border, so I wanted to have that too. So btn main color, that's what I call the class. Okay, main color. Then I also want another one for the shadow, so I'm going to call it shadow. Okay, shadow main color, that's what I'm going to call it. I can't spell shadow, oops, shadow dash main color. Okay, all right, so that's pretty much the classes we'll be needing. Let me go back to my project. So you can see, look, this is how it looks, very ugly. So let's give the button a name of contact us. Contact, oops, sorry, I think you're not seeing what I'm typing. Contact us. All right, so this is basically it, guys. So let's move over to the CSS and start our styling. Okay, so basically I want to add an image. So I have an image that I downloaded. Okay, so let me go to right here and copy, go to my navbar and paste it. You can use pretty much any image you want, it doesn't matter. Okay, then I'll open up text editor, open up my project. So let's proceed, and I want to use the variables, so that it's good. It's pretty much you use variables, but you can use any way you want. Okay, so I'll be using the pseudo class root. So I just want you to learn some couple of tricks in CSS. Actually I use this root pretty much, so it's really nice. It helps you in your site maintenance so that you won't have to kind of keep going down. Maybe let's say you have places you used maybe blue color in your project, maybe you now want to change it back to an orange color. You now have to start going one after the other to change those colors. But if you just use your variables, you can just change it right here on the root, and the effect will take place on all the places you use the instance. Okay, so this is basically the idea why it's really good. So I'm going to call this one the main color because that's what I'll be using. Main color, sorry, I can't spell. Then I'll give it a hexadecimal color of 0B I think 16 I can't really remember, 3F, I think that's the color, dark blue. Okay, that's it. I want also a white color. Okay, white. Okay, that's how you declare your variables. White is normal, is FFF. Okay, you know that. Then I need a black color too. I say black. Okay, so black is 000, I think. Then what else do I need? I need another color. I'm going to use RGB color here. Okay, so I'm going to call this one my ash. All right. It's going to have an RGB color. That's RGB means red, green, blue. So this the red is going to have 157. The green is going to have 150, and likewise the other one, the blue, 150. Okay. Then I need another color called my ash, my ash 2. Oops, 2. Then it's still going to be an RGB of 2. Well, the red is going to be 255. Likewise the green 255. Likewise the blue 256. Okay, something like that. Then I'm going to need another one. Maybe I'm not going to use all of them. I just want to keep them in case I will really need them. If I don't need them, doesn't really matter. Okay, so you can add pretty much plenty things you want. Okay, even if it's the paddings, the margins, you can add them here so that you can have a specific padding or margins that you want to use across, so that if you change them here they take effect. And it's really good for kind of what will I say, I don't know, if to customize your website. Maybe you want a user to have to use your hand and customize specifically what they want to use in the site. It's pretty much nice for you to do that. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to call this my ash light. Okay, I'm just explaining so that you know what all these things are used for. But when you get familiar with them, you really understand them, sure. So 255 for the red, and another 255 for the green, and another 255. So this is basically white, but I just want to keep it there in case I don't want to really use this pure white. I just want to use this white. All of them are pure white, this white and this my ash light, but it just depends. Maybe I want to change them later, and doesn't really matter. Okay, let me use this universal styling. I want the box sizing to be border box. Okay, then I want to zero out the margins. You can see there are margins here, so I want to zero out those margins. In every way, it's going to affect every tag that is in this particular file that is using this style sheet. So it's going to affect it. Okay, so you can see everything has been zeroed out. So let's look at the body. I want to style the body. I just want it to have a font size of 16 pixel, and font family of sans serif, and I also want it to have a font weight of 100. Okay, I also want it to have a background. Okay, so let's give our background image, and we are going to give it use the URL. Okay, and the name of our image is BG. So if you know the name of the image you added, you can put the exact name and the correct extension, because I'm using PNG. So okay, so you can see that in this project they kind of after the image got its original size, it had to repeat itself, so which is what we really don't want. So I don't really want that, except that's what you want. So I'm going to use the background repeat to remove that. I'm going to say background repeat, no repeat. So if I check back the project, you'll see that the repetition is cut off. So I want the image to really span and cover the whole width and height of the image. So I'm going to use background size, and I'm going to say cover. Okay, so by doing that, you can see that it has covered everything. Okay, so okay, that's it. I'm going to tell the the body to take minimum height of 100 viewport height. Okay, sorry, viewport height. So what viewport height means is the device that you are using, it should take the device height. So whatever you are seeing, that's what it's going to take at that moment. So if I say 100 viewport width, so it's the device width, whatever device, be it mobile, laptop, tablet, it doesn't matter, it's just going to take that particular device width. So this is really good for targeting your devices, or knowing exactly, because all the sizes of the devices are not the same. So this is pretty easiest way for you to, it helps in responsiveness. So that's it. Okay, what else do we need? Let's go down to the logo. Let's give it a color. Okay, let's target the logo. Okay, so let's give it a text color of so this is how you use your variable. Okay, give it main color, so you can see that the logo is now having the dark blue. Okay, let's target the UL. Okay, the UL is the tag. We didn't give it all right, let's say list styling. We want to remove the bullet points, these bullet points. So this is how you remove them, by saying list styling, and I'll say none. So you can see it's all gone. Okay, so basically you can see that there's still some padding here, because the UL comes with 40 pixel padding. So I don't really like it, except you like it, you can leave it, but I don't like it. So I would like to remove the padding. Okay, so I'll say padding 0. Okay, so you can see that's gone. Then let's look at the A, because you can see it's kind of blue or pink, blue or purple. I don't really know the color, and it has this underline. I don't really like it, so let me remove that. And I'll say text decoration. That's what you use to remove the underline. Now say none. You can see the underline is gone. Then I'll look at the color. I don't like the color. I'll use my black, so I'll use the variable and check for black. So you can see it's now black. Then let's target the container. Like I told you in the original project, you can see that there are spaces here and there are spaces here. So I want it to have the same thing. So if you look at our finished HTML, you can see that I wrapped everything, this whole thing, to the button part. I wrapped it inside this div. Okay, oh sorry, this button is not even in the div. Let me put that in the div, cut it out. Okay, it is in the div, it's supposed to be in the div. Okay, all right, so that's it. Then so let's start the class called container. Okay, then we want to give the width of 75 or whatever you want to give it, that 70, 75, depending on the size you want. You can play around with those things. Okay, so let's look at the height. We want it to have 100% of its parent container. Okay, so that's what we want it to have. Then we want the margin. We want it the margin, because if you look at this is the final project. Okay, so if we look at it, you can see that okay, let's look at our main project. You can see we have done the margin stuff, but the width and everything, but you won't really notice it, because in the final project, if you look here, you see that there is space here and there is space here. What the margin author does, it takes the remaining space, divide into 2, and put some here and put some at the right, then place the content at the center. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, so if you watch, if I do that now, you see if I say the 0 top and bottom, then left and right will be auto. Okay, you can see everything has been placed to the center, but you're not really going to notice that, because you didn't see okay, let me give the container a color so that you understand what I'm saying. Let me give it a background color of black. So you can see that look at where the container is now. Okay, so the margin author took the spaces, split it into two, placed some here and here. You can try it and you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let me remove this ugly color so that we can proceed. Okay, so let's oh sorry guys, let's style the buttons. Okay, so there's only one button here, so let me start the button. I want it to display inline block. Okay, oops, sorry, I've not targeted the button. Okay, display inline block. Then outline, I want to remove the outline. Just be looking at the button, you'll be seeing the effect. Oh sorry, outline, not overflow, outline. I just want it to have none. Then okay, I want to add some padding, because if you look at the button, there are not really much paddings around. So I want to add some padding, 5 pixel top and bottom, then 10 pixel left and right. So you can see there are some spaces. So the padding is between the border. So it's the space between the border. Then margin is the space outside the border. So you can see the border is this line that goes through it. Okay, so that's the difference between padding and margin. Okay, so I just want to remove the border. The default border it came with it is black in color, so I just want to remove it so that I can add my own border. So just say border 0. Okay, so you can see there is no border, so that I can add my own border to it. Okay, so I want it like you can see, if I let me add my own border color so that you can understand what I'm trying to explain. So btn main color, that's the class I gave it there, right? I think color. Then I want to add border. I want to add some border to it, so I'm going to give it the border width to be 1 pixel. Then the border style should be solid. There is dotted, though you can use dotted, but I want solid. Then I want to use the variable color. Okay, so the variable color will be main color, the dark blue color that we used. Okay, what happened? Why am I not seeing anything? Main color. Okay, let me look at my index. Did I add? Oh sorry guys, I did not put this. Okay, so you can see you'll be careful of how you type, so that any error can affect your CSS and it won't work. Okay, so let's proceed. I want it to have, when I click it, like you can see, if I click in the main project, poops, it behaves like a button. But if I click it here, it doesn't. So I want it to do that. So how do I do that? I'm going to target the active state, okay, of the button. So when it's being clicked, that's the active state. So I'm going to use a pseudo class, okay, called active. Okay, then that's how I target it. So whenever it's being clicked, I want it to give a specific action. So what do we want? We want to do the transform and do scale. Okay, scale, we want to scale it to 0.95. okay, so by doing so, if I click on it now, you can see it scales down to 0.95, because the default is 1. If I put it to 1, it won't behave this way. So you can scale it to any size you want, from 0 to 1. So if you scale it to 0, I think it will disappear, but 1, it shows up. Then 0.5 is kind of you can play around with them, okay, and see what it does. You're not going to break any code, so it's good you practice around. Okay, so let's I want it to have a transparent color, though it already has the transparent color, but I just want it to have so that in case I want to use the classes anywhere, so I can be able to use it. Okay, so these things are these button stylists I'm doing, they don't really affect the fixed navigation. I'm just doing it so that you can know how to style some buttons. So I don't really want the class to be really empty, focused on only the fix. I just want to add spicing things up a little, so that's why I decided to add some button effects to it. So you're just going to add a background color of transparent, okay? So that it's going to be transparent. Then the next thing I want is when I hover over it, I just want it to have a blue color. Okay, so let me target the sorry guys, the btn, then I'm going to say hover. Okay, all right, so I'm going to give it a background color of, you already know what the background color should be, the main blue color. So when I hover, you can see, then I just want to give it the text color a color of white. So I'm going to use my variable. I have white, I guess, yeah, I do have white. So when I hover, you see blue and white. Okay, another thing, I want to add some shadow, because if you look at the main, you can see some shadow over here. So I want to add that shadow. Okay, so that's basically what I want to add. So if we look at our index, you can see I added some shadow of .main. So let's go on and target it and start. So shadow, that's what I called it, shadow, I think dash main color. Okay, all right, so I'm going to give it a box shadow. That's what you use to give shadows to an element. So you say box shadow, then you now specify the x-axis, the y-axis. So the x-axis, I'm going to give 1 pixel, y-axis 1 pixel, then the blur, I'm going to give it 2 pixel. Then you can see that the effect, the shadow has already been added there. Okay, so but I just want it to have a color, so you can specify whatever color you want. So I want it, well, the default is, I think, is black, but I want it to have my main blue color. Okay, so we have styled the button. Is there any other thing we need to style in the button? I think there's pretty much nothing to style in the button again. So what we want is to kind of make them, the logo to be here, then the links to be here, then the contact to be here. So it's really a very simple way to do it. There's what we call what do we call that again? I think display. We are going to display it flex. But before then, let's give some you can see here that the nav has a fixed height. Okay, so let's give it that fixed height and some other properties. So let's target so you can also let me add some comment. Okay, so this is how you add comment to your CSS. So let me call this the header. Okay, header. All right, then let's proceed. I gave it the class of main header, header. All right, so I want to give a fixed height of 70 pixel. Okay, very small size. Okay, pixel is different from percent. You should know that by now if you have really done your basic CSS tutorials. Okay, so I wanted to have a height of a width of 100% width. Okay, sorry, let's look at our project. 100% width. Then I want to give it a background of white. Okay, background color of white. Let me use my variable. I think I have white. Yeah, I have white. I always forget I do. Then I want to give it some box shadow. Oops, what have I done? Okay, box shadow, not sizing. The x-axis should be 0, y-axis 0, blur 5 pixel. Then I just want it to have the default, so you can see it kind of have this default. So I want to give it the z-index. The z-index will make it behave like it's 3D. So I want to give it the z-index of maybe about 4 or so that it will be a little higher, because if you look at the project, all other ones are passing under it as if it's kind of a 3D stuff. So this is what this index will do, like kind of make it higher than the other ones. Okay, so like this now it's above the other contents. Okay, so that's it. So let's proceed. What else do I want to add? I want to make it fixed so that it doesn't move, okay, when we are scrolling, because if there are so many contents under here, by default once it gets past the normal height of the device, it's going to keep scrolling. But we want, when we are scrolling, we don't want the nav to scroll. So basically we are going to position it to be fixed. Okay, position fixed. So this is how you position it fixed. Then we want it from the top, okay, from the top 0, and from the left also 0, so that it's going to be from here, like from the top here 0, and from the left here 0, so that everything is going to align perfectly well. Okay. Then the next thing we want, you can see that our logo, our links, and the button, they are just stacked up like this. So we want them to spread. Okay, want them to spread so that we can have this guy here, this guy here, and this guy here. Okay, so what we will do is to target the container, because the container is the primary the parent, sorry, not primary, the parent of this logo, link, and button is this container. So when we declare this container flex, it's going to kind of flex the immediate children, because this logo, UL, and button is the children of this container. So for us to target it, we're going to say dot main header dot container. Okay, so that means when we said because we are trying to be specific, we are saying the container that is inside this header, so that it won't go and style other containers. If there are other container classes, it won't go and display them flex. You just want to be specific, so it's good to be specific. Okay, so we'll say display flex. Then we want to, you can see that it has flexed the 3 of them. They are no longer stacked. Okay, so after flexing, what else do we want to do? We want to justify content. Okay, we want to justify them and put space around. So when we say space around, it's going to space them. You can see there is space here, there is space here. Then it's not passing the fixed width we gave the container, which is I think about 75%. So it's going to stop here, but put spaces in between. So that's basically what it's telling it. Space oh sorry, that's a space around. I think space between, that's what I want to use. Space between, yeah, sorry, this is where the 75% is. Space around actually put space both from the beginning, the between, and at the end. But space between, we just put space between, just the way the word, so that's just what it means. Okay, then I want to align them center, so that they can, you can see that the logo is not on English is hard today. The logo is not in the center, so I want it to be in the center. So likewise other ones, you can see that this button is stretching, this guy is, so I just want them to be at the center. So I'm going to say align. Okay, align items, and I'll say center. So you can see now it's now in the center. You can see this is in the center. So that's how you do it. So you can see it's really taking shape now. So I want to give it the container a height of 100%, so that it can take the 100% width of its parent. So 100%. Okay, so let's look at the UL, because if you look at the UL now, the UL is stacked, which is not what we want. If you look at the final project, you can see the way they are aligned, so that's what we want to do. Okay, so let's target the UL. Okay, let me copy this. Copy. Sorry guys, this video is really taking time because I'm explaining too much and I'm typing very slow so that you guys will understand. Okay, then I want to display the UL flex. Okay, that's basically what we will do. Flex, sorry, let's look at our main project. Display flex, oops. So displaying flex, you can see they are now line flex, but they are close enough together. This is not what we want, so let's still give them justify content center so that they can be in the center. Let's align item center, so that we just want to make sure that they are centralized. Okay, then let's move down to the LIs so that we can really give them some width. Okay, boop, 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 boop. Li, not the Li in the Bible. Li, like list items. Okay, let's give them width of 100 pixel. Okay, so that they can have some space from each other. So you can see now there are some spaces between each other. Okay, so each of the Li has 100 pixels. So let's give them some padding. Let's say 3 pixel. Okay, let's 3 pixel up and top and bottom, then 0 left and right. Okay, so let's text align them center. Okay, so that they can be in the center of that 100%, 100 pixel, not 100%. Okay, and let's kind of let's we want when we hover, because if you look at the final project, when we hover, there is this kind of light, is it gray or whatever, and the text itself changes to the main color, which is the dark blue that we are using. So we want that too. Okay, so let's target it. But we want this to happen when we hover over the Li. So let's copy it. So as you know, we will use the pseudo class called hover. Okay, hover, because we have done that in the button, so you really know that that's what we are supposed to do. Okay, let's change. What we are going to do is just to change the background color. When we hover, we are going to use the my ash d2. Okay, so now when I hover over it, oops, it didn't work. Why? I don't really know, but let me use the word important and see. Important. Okay, let's see if it will work. It still didn't work. Why? Okay, let me remove this UL and see maybe if that's the reason. Oops, still didn't work. So what's the problem? Let me see if I, oh sorry, oh let me look at my Li. Okay, I think it's because the main ash, my ash 2 is just equivalent to white, so that's why we are not seeing it. Okay, so let me put the my ash and I hover. Okay, see, we are getting that effect. Okay, so that's it. Then I just want to kind of make all these links to be uppercase. So let me target the links. I've taken so much time, but it doesn't really matter. We are trying to learn some things. So let me copy this, copy, paste, and I want to target just the link. Okay, so the A, then I'm going to say font size. I want to kind of target the font size, give it 13 pixel. Okay, so that they can reduce a little. Then I want, oops, not here. Okay, tab them in a little, tab them in a little. Okay, and I want the text text transformation. That's what you use to make them I want them to have uppercase. Okay, so you can see now they are all uppercase, and I want to give it a color of the color of my ash, so that it's going to look a little bit lighter. I don't want that dark black of a thing. So variable my ash, so you can see it's a little bit light. But when I hover, I want it to be dark blue, so that we can see what's inside, because you can see right now we are not seeing whatever that is inside. Okay, so let me hover, let me put the hover, Control V, and hover on the, oops, sorry, what did I do? Hover on the A. Okay, so that's it. And I want to add some padding bottom, or it's not even necessary, or let me look at it. Let's add a little padding bottom so that we can give some space. Okay, padding bottom. Okay, just 10 pixels. If you don't want to add the padding, you can leave it. Then the main thing is the color. Okay, I just want the color to be variable of the main color, so that when I hover over it, okay, when I hover over it, okay, sorry, I've not added the hover, the pseudo class hover that is going to target what I want. So now when I hover over it, you can see the blue, 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 the blue. So we're almost there, guys. It's just for us to add some content, so that we when we scroll, everything is going to be in the navbar will be fixed, and everything will scroll up with it. Okay, so what we'll do, let's go down below the header. Let's say main. Okay, and let's add the container class, say dot container. Okay, class. Then I want to add some paragraph, say p. Okay, I'll use add some dummy text. I use lorem, or maybe 350, or whatever you want to add, whatever text. Okay, then I will want to duplicate this. Okay, so that we can have more of it. Okay, so duplicate, okay, and duplicate. Okay, so now you can see if we scroll, okay, you can see how it's scrolling. We have everything intact. So this is how you make your fixed navigation, guys. If you really love the tutorial, you can click on subscribe, then like and share, and you can also support me and buy me a coffee, so that I can be able to drop more free content. So that would be it, guys. If you want to add more things, you can add. All right, see you in another episode. Bye bye.